full, rich, effective life. I've seen people live lives that I commend as meaningful, and I've seen others live lives that you wonder what they were doing with their lives. I've seen people fail. I've seen people succeed. I've seen people rejoice. I've seen people regret. I've seen people inspire a generation in and through their lives, and I've seen many discouraged as the thought of someone's life and the way he lived his life. My life would change many years ago as I watched an obituary. Please lend me your attention. And so I'm sitting in front of a television and they're announcing the transition of a man. And it's not the way they announce, transitions today. So here I'm sitting, and then they're singing the song, "I'll Fly Away, Oh Glory." And they run a slide. I think they were able to, the man died in his 80s, if I still recall. And they were able to capture his picture from the earliest they could find, those days with the whole afro and all of that. And they started running the slide as a teenager to a young adult, perhaps his middle age, to maybe a grandfather. And they were able to capture the final moments with the children and grandchildren on the bed before he transited. And they ran that slide within the course of maybe a few seconds, max a minute. And for some strange reason, it impacted upon my life in a way. I looked at a man's entire journey in 1 minute. And the scripture that rang into my spirit was, "So teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom." I made up my mind from that encounter that I was going to live a life of meaning, a life of purpose, that I would not just exist, I would not just run the course of my life living daily hoping that I'm making an impact. I made up my mind to be very intentional about my life. And so it led me to a number of studies, and I love to read and study a bit about psychology because it helps me to understand human behavior. And some of the things that I'll be sharing with you are both scriptural truths as well as established psychological facts. One of them is what we call the science of achievement and the art of fulfillment. Please lend me your attention for 1 minute. So behavioral psychologists have taught us that there are certain unified motivations behind the activities of all men, regardless your kind of person, regardless your level of exposure, regardless your faith practice, your orientation, and so on and so forth. And there are 6 of them. These are the core motivations behind any activity you see on earth. Now, those who are attempting to get these psychological motivations do not know that this is what motivates them. Is the reason you desire to have a family, a car, a job, promotion, literally everything. And I'm going to run the list for you. Are you ready? Number 1, the first motivation behind all human behavior is called the need for security. Please write that down. The need for security. Security by every definition